but they arrived with the word yes. Just a yes, large enough yes to cross an ocean, brave enough to leave their sojourn and their marks, but they arrived with a yes.
Yes.
Brave enough to leave home, strong enough to walk into a wounded world and love it anyway. They carried that yes to the poor and the sick and the vulnerable and the newly freed. They carried it to classrooms where futures were waiting. The sisters, they arrived with a yes. A yes into hospitals where hope just needed a hand. A yes where churches and faith became action. Into communities where dignity demanded a champion. They were that. And whenever the yes was planted, life began to bloom. A child somewhere discovered possibility. A family found strength. A neighbor found compassion. A community found light. What began as 8 women became generations of love, because a true yes never ends with the person who speaks it. Amen. It echoes on and on and on and on across years and decades and lives and neighborhoods. So today, we simply do not honor the sisters. We honor their work. Their buildings and their love. For schools can close, buildings can age. We honor them for what they awaken, because faith serves, love acts, hope refuses to quit. So let history record this: when love says yes to God, even time must make room. Good morning.
Good morning.
Come on, you can do better than that. Good morning.
Good morning.
We are here to celebrate. I am honored to be a product of the Sisters of St. Joseph, having attended that very school next door. So I'm a product of it. You know, I came there, Rahman Johnson, and I'm happy to say that now I am Dr. Rahman Johnson with a PhD from one of the top institutions in the world. So what you did works, and I cannot be more grateful and thankful for what you have brought to this community, my sister. Protocol already having been established. Again, I'm Rahman Johnson from the Jacksonville City Council. I represent District 14, and I'm a member of the Immaculate Conception, Basilica of the Immaculate Conception. Don't beat me up. My other family goes here, and they just said, "We waiting on you." I don't know what you're waiting on. To His Excellency, Bishop Polmeyer, to the Monsignor, Father Bodie, who I adore, Father Dillip, Sister Carr, and all the Sisters of St. Joseph. And I must say, as we had a debate about Sister Elise, and I said, no, I've always known her as Sister Mary Elise. That's just what we called her here the entire time. And of course, everyone was like, no, it's Elise Kennedy. I'm like, no, it's Sister Mary Elise. I remember. And then when we talked, I said, well, you know, Mary is in everything. So regardless, we show our love. But I do want to greet you, and on behalf of the City Council, I want to get protocol out of the way first and foremost from our council President Kevin Carrico, who could not be here, and Vice President Nick Howland, who also happens to be the President-elect, and the Vice President-elect Joe Carlucci. I bring greetings from all of them, as well as another member of the faithful, our Mayor, Donna Deegan. She was not able to be with us today, but I did speak to her this morning on the way in, and she does celebrate with us. And I have something from her coming up in just a moment. But I'll tell you, this is certainly an important personal event for me. I've attended groundbreakings and ribbon cuttings and all the things you do as a member of the council. But this is one of those days that I take immense pride in, because it's about the faith that I love. Today we're honoring not just a religious order, but work in Jacksonville that tells us historic story. You know, as I was talking to the media about this event and talking about the sisters and the great work that they have done in our community, the story was riveting. And I want to take just a moment, very briefly. This story began in, as you know, Le Puy-en-Velay, France. More than 3 centuries ago, a small group of women with a radical idea: serve God by serving people, serve the poor, serve the sick, serve the forgotten. And they were called Les Chers Penchants. The dear neighbor. Simple words, right? Powerful words. Words that would eventually travel across the ocean and change the community that I love and now represent. Now, I want you to imagine something. It was founded, centuries ago, but imagine in 1866, the Civil War's ended, America is wounded, Florida is in an uncertain kind of position. And you had 4 million people of the formerly enslaved, and they were trying to build new lives and figure out, where can I go? What do I do? I'm in a new place. I know nothing here. Children are hungry, not just for food, for knowledge. Families were searching for hope. And there was a bishop named Augustine. He arrived in France carrying a request, a plea, if you will, a calling. And he tells the sisters, there's some people in America who need you. They need teachers. The souls need shepherds. Their families who need hope. And perhaps the Mother Superior, if I could think back there, looked across the room and asked a simple question. Voulez-vous aller? Will you go? And the sisters, I'm sure, had to think they were coming to a new territory. They were French speaking. This was a Spanish speaking area. But they, taking convention and throwing it to the wind, said, oui, je veux aller, I will go. And come they did. They answered God's call by crossing an ocean. And perhaps for just a moment when they arrived, there was a silence. I know some of us, when we get into situations where we've said we or yes to, and we get there, we're like, Lord, what have I got myself into now? Into a new land and into a new place. But they said, yes, I will go and I will serve. And in that holy silence, in those 8 extraordinary women that answered the call, not knowing where the journey would lead or how it would move forth, they came, landing on the banks of the St. John's River. There was no welcoming committee. There was no city council there to offer a resolution or a proclamation. They just came, no cameras, nothing, but they came to serve with faith and courage and compassion in unfamiliar territory with no wealth, nothing but faith. Now, history often celebrates generals who won battles. It erects monuments to politicians who passed laws. Books are written about industrialists who built fortunes. But what I've learned is that the people who usually change the world often aren't the loudest in the room.
Amen.
Sometimes they are women wearing a simple habit, carrying books under one arm and faith in another, courage in their souls. And that's what the Sisters of St. Joseph did when they arrived in Florida. But they got to work, educating the formerly enslaved, caring for the sick, confirming for the elderly. They changed Jacksonville with Holy Rosary and St. Paul's and Assumption and Bishop Kenny and Christ the King, doing education so wonderfully that everybody wanted a piece of it, even though they came just to help the formerly enslaved. They did such an amazing job. And here's the thing, as Sister said earlier, people thought they were trying to get them educated to get to Harvard, but really the sisters were trying to get them to heaven. I heard that and it rang loud and clear. But generations of people were able to say thank you. And so that's why today, since you have faithfully and consistently changed lives, I hope that the poem I've written for you as a poet, as someone whose poems are published, I wrote that poem for you because you not only changed Jacksonville, but most importantly, you changed a community. A community of people who didn't even understand there was a belief in themselves. The belief did not exist, but you took faith and reignited that belief, and we will forever be grateful. So first and foremost, that is why today, my friend, and again, a member of the faithful, Mayor Donna Deegan, has proclaimed June 7th, 2026 as the Sisters of St. Joseph Day in the city of Jacksonville. And I'll give you all of these at the end. But I said all that to say, the mayor has put this proclamation, I won't read it in its entirety, but after establishing a school in St. Augustine, the sisters expanded their ministry to Jacksonville, helping lay the foundation for Catholic education and service throughout. And I'll skip to the end. Now, therefore, I, Donna Deegan, by virtue vested in me as the mayor of the city of Jacksonville, here do proclaim June 7th, 2026, as the Sisters of St. Joseph of St. Augustine Recognition Day in Jacksonville, and encourage all residents to join me in recognizing and celebrating the sisters for their long-standing commitment to faith, education, and service. And again, this is signed by Jacksonville Mayor Donna Deegan, an official proclamation. This is your day. And if that's not enough, I'm also honored to present, introduced by me. There's several members of us on council who are Catholic, but I encouraged all of our members, and let me tell you, we all know how it is in a collegial body to get 19 folk to agree on anything. We're coming up in the budget season, and I said to myself, I was saying, I think God wanted me to be closer to him. I get up and I pray and, the rosary, and I do my things, but I believe that God must have wanted me to be a little bit closer because he sent me to city council. And the prayers have increased exponentially trying to deal with 19 people to get on one accord. But I was able to get them on an accord to honor you with this. This is Resolution 2026-413, which was unanimously adopted by the Jacksonville City Council. It is a full resolution. I won't read it, but it says, whereas the sisters' legacy remains firmly rooted in the lives that they've changed and uplifted in Jacksonville, the barriers they helped dismantle, and the belief that they carried forward education as a tool of empowerment, be it resolved by the City Council that the City Council hereby honors and commends the Sisters of St. Joseph of St. Augustine for more than a century of extraordinary service. And you'll be able to read it at your leisure, but this is on behalf of the entire 19-member Jacksonville City Council. Now, let me tell you, I did not want the moment to pass on paper only, which is one of the reasons why I created that poem. I really wanted something that would stand the test of time and last for history. But the place in history must be secured. So what I want to do is let you know with profound gratitude and deep admiration, I don't want, even though the order may not be doing as much work in Jacksonville, your footprints and fingerprints and soul prints are all over this place. But I want people to see it tangibly. So I'm happy to announce today that I put forth legislation, the new place where the Sisters of St. Joseph were, which was where the old St. Pius was. And I don't like to use the word old, so we'll say the heritage site of St. Pius on the corner of Estate and Lee Street. I'm happy to say that legislation has been put forth that will henceforth and forever be known. Now, I will tell you that government does not run at the speed of light. It runs at the speed of government. So it's taking some time, but very soon you will see something there, and I can talk without a microphone. That place on State and Lee will soon be known as the Sisters of St. Joseph of St. Augustine Place.
Wow!